Kevin is out trying to figure out where his brother is because he went out for a run and then it started storming and
left his phone.
Kevin, he left his phone at home, so Kevin's out trying to find him.
So
we don't really have a
stalling
good
for
read
little bit of
on
time.
how long it takes to locate a Benberg in the dark. So we're just rolling without him until he shows up. Yeah, exactly.
So if Kevin dies in a thunderstorm, we will be 3 checks cast for a little bit.
I don't know if he's gonna die. He might, meander around for however long he has the patience to meander around and not find his brother. But
no, Justin, that's when we get Paul on the cast.
through.
I told you if someone dies, we get Paul Butler.
I make a very animated cast.
I think you need someone who's gonna argue with me more than Paul will if you want to match the same vibe. I don't think
You don't have
Paul's
to match the
aggressive
same
enough
vibe.
to replace Kevin.
I think Paul is always an acceptable vibe.
Yeah, it's like we could probably replace the arguments with positivity and funny things from Paul.
Would I have to be positive?
You don't have to, but we could also just ignore you. It's fine.
I can feed Paul things to say to Justin. There you go.
You absolute buffoon.
I'll give credit to Paul on one thing. Like, Kevin will argue with me way longer. Paul will say the one perfect thing where I'm like, okay, man, you got me, dude.
Is that better or worse than you and Kevin just arguing in circles around each other?
I mean, I enjoy arguing in circles for an hour.
I know you do.
Which one?
As long as the words argument, as long as the words argue and hour are in the same sentence, that means you like it.
Correct. I'm glad you understand.
Yeah.
I'm going to give us till the 10-minute mark, and then I'm just going to say we start without Kevin.
10-minute mark. It's 9:23.
And he can hop in midstream if he wants.
7 minutes? Hang out for 7 minutes?
No. At the 10-minute mark is in like 1 minute.
Ah, that's fair.
I have on OBS, I have like a counter how long we've been streaming.
Yeah. Not that there's too much formally to go through.
I mean, also Twitch itself tells you how long you've been streaming. It's right here. I can see it. Just saying.
Yeah, but I like pause the Twitch so I don't have like video of us playing next to video of us.
That's fair. I have the sound off and I have it playing just so I can tell if the stream froze. That is less of an issue nowadays, but it was definitely an issue on our first couple episodes.
Oh, when I was on the desktop, that desktop was terrible. That desktop was old and virus-ridden. Now my current laptop is new and virus-ridden, and that's a lot easier to work with.
I can't even make the joke. He did it to himself.
Like my grandpa. Jesus.
Wow.
Okay, well, on that lovely note, why is it virus-ridden? Okay, I've had that one since I was in like early high school, and when you're in early high school, you don't understand the correct sites to download video game ROMs on. Keeps downloading Danganronpa fan games. Jose, I can't stand you. Okay.
He's right though.
The problem is I laugh too much. I was going to say no, but it will seem like I'm lying if I say no now. So I just have to accept it. Cool. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to 4Checks Cast. We are your 3 of your 4 checks because one of us is gone. We are Justin, Tim, and Will here to give you everything going on in the world of universes. And we have got a big thing coming up in universes this weekend. We are having the Chicago Regional. Now, if you're in chat, please sound off if you're going to Chicago because I do kind of want to see how many people are going. Will and Tim, you guys are both going, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I am.
Flying tomorrow night.
coming in on Friday morning.
Yeah,
so
and
I'm
then
probably gonna
Kevin
miss
is
the
going
intro.
as well, correct?
Yeah, I have no idea how he's getting there.
Gotcha.
He might be trying to take a train. I'm not sure,
Nice.
but I assume he's gonna fly. But he has made motions about wanting to take a train somewhere.
Sure. Cool. So let's kind of talk a little bit about what the lead up has been like to it. So before we kind of talk about what the meta itself is going to be like, do you guys know what you're taking yet?
More or less. I might do the
Would you
thing I
like to
usually do.
communicate with-
Yeah,
Would you
so
like to communicate with the audience what you're thinking?
I'm probably going to be playing. I'm going to join the Reiner team. I think. I've been playing around with Reiner 3 a little bit. I changed like enough cards to satisfy my inner hipster. Because I don't think I could stand to show up with a true like a full net deck, but we're like 15 or 17 cards different or something like that. So I feel a little more ownership of the deck, right? If I were to show up with it, and that's I like to show up with my own brews of things. So we're gonna do that unless I like both play in teams and play that deck in teams, and it sucks, and then I might panic audible to this really not that good Toru deck.
So let me ask you real quick before we move on to what Will is playing. Your 15 to 17 card change. Do you think it is like an improvement upon the
Yes.
original deck, or do you think it's just changing the play style a little bit?
I think it's better, or else I wouldn't be making the changes, right? It's a symbol swap.
Well, there's like
we're
horizontal where it's the same quality
Yeah.
of deck.
Yeah, we're chaos instead of order, so that forces some number of changes on its own, right? And then we tweaked a couple things from there.
Cool. I gotta say, I tried Reiner 3 on like when the tokens were announced, and like I tried a 4-check version and I thought it was gonna be like ass, and the 4-check version is ass, and so I kind of set him down. A lot of the Reiner 3s I'm seeing that can like semi-consistently flip on 2 or pretty decently swap on 3. I'm really impressed with what a lot of those decks are doing.
Yeah,
it is a deck that if I had time for Chicago.
Yeah, it's definitely Luke Butler brainchild, which is something I never thought I'd be saying when he was just slamming Eligor all the time in 2019. But him and the Luchuga guys have sort of shown the model for how this works, and that there's not a whole lot of flexibility in it. So even though like I changed some cards, the core is all still the same, right? It's all the same stuff still there. But yeah, it's kind of deranged. You're playing like 20 foundations, and like some backups that kind of count as foundations, and just like keeping a cheap attack curve, and it's a little Nago like, right, where you're going to put +4 damage on everything, and instead of having that built into your character, you have to jump through a million hoops, but on the plus side you get to snipe a million stuff. So
yeah, he's like a super weird character conceptually, because on the backside, like obviously when you flip over, he's one of the best printed characters ever. Like every single attack being played, he gets to target commit something. He -1 damages all your opponent's moves and +4 to 5 damages all of your moves. Yeah, that's obviously an insane character. Or target flip, as Jose said. Yeah. However, the problem is it's like, how much can you sacrifice your deck build quality to get to the other side? Because obviously, like
it all goes out the window.
Yeah, and we're trying to do all of it.
It doesn't matter how garbage pile of cards you are. Just flip that character and figure it out. That's what we've learned.
Yeah. I'm very curious in like a 7-round regional how consistently he is going to be flip over. Like I really want to hear the results of that when like you get back.
Yeah, I mean in goldfishing, like going first, because you can't really tell going second because you don't quite know how much they're going to harass you. But going first, it's like 90%. It's almost every time. It's very consistent.
Will, what are you taking?
Currently I have 2 decks built, and one is like the 90% and the other is the 10%. I just say screw it, I'm playing this because it's funny. But I've Shin built, which is the 10%. Shin Godzilla is very fun, and I like my list a lot, to the point where I have at least like a 50-50 into into Titan of Terror. I mean, I haven't played a ton of games with him because like I'd rather test Titan of Terror because he's good. But I like my Shin list a lot. But I'm probably just going Titan and Terror. Like that's my 90.
Can I be real? And I know he's rotated, but you said Shin, and my brain thought for a millisecond you were going to take Shin Namoto.
Yeah,
And
clearly.
I was like,
Hell
hell
yeah.
yeah, dude.
Hell yeah. No.
Yes,
Shin
the
Godzilla.
Let's rip Shin Namoto
We-
here.
We love. I'm taking a page out of your book, except without 4-checks. I'm just going to debuild people with him. I've had so many games where I just keep my opponent at 0 foundations, and even after they, put up a whole bunch of them, we still kill the good ones.
Yeah, that is definitely a guy. Like, I think by and large, people don't feel good about their Titan of Terror matchups with that guy. I mean, you seem to, but
Sure.
I think by and large, people are kind of putting him to the side so long
Sure.
as Titan Terror is around. Because
Yeah, I don't think it's a terrible matchup, but I also don't think it's a great matchup, right? Like I'd say it's like I want to say 50-50, but it's definitely not. I know that my games are biased because I'm just playing with locals. But like it's probably more like a 60-40 in Godzilla's favor, not Shin's. But I think that's
I just felt like there wasn't really any way to stop yourself from eventually dying to Crushing Impact. Like obviously there's like stuff that exists, but it's just not a good situation.
I mean, as long as he has Guardian of Angel of Chinatown, it's hard to get out of that Crushing Impact to begin with. So no matter who you are.
Yeah, I mean, some decks have some decks have access to substitute member, like
that's
hidden
fair.
behind a team hero. That's something I really like right now. That like can or they can afford to run Filled with Doubts because they're not forced to run Chomp or something like that. But
thank you, Colby, for the sub, by the way.
Thank you, Colby.
I will say, so we had done Shin. Was I testing Nago into your Shin, Tim? I don't remember we were playing that
you were testing a what you considered a maximum greed Titan of Terror, and like
yeah,
I could like fight over stuff, but like I couldn't kill you before I died to Crushing Impact. Was basically like obviously other cards were played, but that was the long and the short of it. Was like if I didn't find Cape, I was just dead to Crushing Impact every time.
Yeah, that is and I think that kind of naturally leads us to what our next conversation should be on some level. What do you think with like the big scary guy this regionals, obviously Titan of Terror. Like everyone's saying he's nuts. And like I know we in the past have compared him to Mikasa 4, but the way people are talking about Titan of Terror is like scarier than the way people talked about Mikasa 4. Do you think Titan of Terror is as scary as the community is making them out to be going into Chicago?
Trying to think of a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's like a yes and no answer.
Dude,
I think it's very much a yes and no. I think he's very, very good. I think the community overall is overreacting. But I still think it's like I don't think he's like tier 0, there's nothing that can be done here. But I do think he's like very, very, very high.
Yeah, he's certainly in a very he's definitely the one singular unique boogeyman of the format.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the format is certainly warped around him. I think that the question is like, the UVS design team is going to decide that, see how Chicago goes and kind of decide this and think about how they want to approach this. But like, is it a problem, right? Is it bad for your tier 0.5 deck or whatever to be a guy that just says, whatever you're doing, you have to have a pretty strong offense. You don't have to be a turn 2 kill deck. There aren't very many of those anyway. But your horizon for like when you're going to kill a character with the defense of Titan of Terror, which is like he can play some stuff, but it's not exactly trying to like beat a Rodon or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But your horizon to kill that guy has to be like turn 3.5 at worst, or if it's gonna be like a turn 4 angle, you have to be a Rodon or someone that can really slow him down. And when they're not talking about this specifically, if they're talking about like broad design goals and they say they want games ending between turns 3 and 5, well, look at what he's doing, right? So we'll see if they consider like if if the meta's warped around him and he's still, you know, let's say he's 20% of the field and more than half of top cuts or something, right? Because you would probably expect, when a character's 20% of the field, you probably expect like a 30 or 40% conversion rate, because there's going to be some bias around, you know, the sweatier players are going to be
Top
more
players
like more of
top
that 20%. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, then they'll probably have to do something, right? If he's still just like dominating anyway. But if it's warped around him and he's just like a primary resident of that meta, the same way that the first Godzilla was the primary resident of many metas in a row, right? But his win rate isn't like particularly out of hand. They decide that they might decide they just like this world, right? And they want people to play decks that are trying to get at each other and see if with more time, you know, more and more variety develops as people find the stuff that's harder to build.
Right.
I agree with a lot of that for sure. I think the big thing, kind of talking about conceptually Titan of Terror's place, the last couple of decks that I've seen be like the boogeyman decks that people have talked about, it felt like there were silver bullet or silver bullet adjacent cards. You know, like in the case of Deku's like the easiest one that you could silver bullet out. Like if you had consistent access to speed resets or things like that, he really had to find a lot of things to play through that. Mikasa 4, like Fill with Doubt is good into Titan of Terror, but specific in Mikasa 4, Fill with Doubt felt so brutally strong because it would like lock a card in their pool usually, which meant they were playing on 1 progressive, and that deck was kind of designed to play at 0.
Right.
And especially if you played it like multiple of these things, you played Ichigaki and things like that. It felt like you could really tech for these decks and play defense against them for as long as you need to, if you wanted. The thing that I think makes Titan of Terror different, and I'm not saying this is necessarily a good or bad thing, but it is a different thing. While there are cards that are good into him, there is no silver bullet, in my opinion, that like shuts down what he's doing. There's no sacrifice half your opponent's power tokens that would cripple the strength of this deck if you sided it in. He is just really good at doing the thing that he wants to do. And I think the thing is, since he's not a crazy defensive character, and since his aggro is like kind of hard to turn to you with, especially post Rampage ban, he is a deck that you can beat by just out aggroing him. So I kind of look at him as a deck that has like 60-40 or better into everyone, but has 60-40 into a lot of people. Besides maybe King Ghidorah 2 is the one deck I've looked at and been like, maybe it's not 60-40.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, in particular, like if anything that can do both, right? Anything that's like also a turn, you know, if you consider him like a turn 3.25 deck or whatever, if he was fighting himself, I guess, if we're measuring our horizon that way.
Right.
You know, if you can play enough defense to slow him down and have a similar turn horizon to his defense, and maybe your deck wouldn't be as good into, you know, the most prison Rodon if anyone were to play it, but that deck just dies to Titan of Terror anyway, right? So, yeah, you know, if it by giving up some of your like super long game potential, you can play this like mix of disruptive stuff and your own offense that can turn, you know, if you make it so Titan of Terror takes 4 turns to kill you and you can kill him in 3, then you have a great win rate, right? So, you know, it's and Titan of Terror, the better, in my opinion, the better Titan of Terror decks are the ones that are playing as much defense as they reasonably can for the same reasons.
Right.
Like the name of the game is to, you know, be able to win on a pretty good time curve, right? 3, 4, 5, but also have enough defensive tools that, you know, you can make them turn 4 or 5 instead of turn 3, 4, 5, and now you're ahead, right? You have an edge.
I am really interested to see. I think you'll see a bit of a divergence in Chicago. I think there will be some players who will play the Titan of Terror you're describing, because I know like Jet's in that direction as well, of the like Scanlan's hand, play solid defense, and try to kill them on turn 4. But I also will not be surprised if the like Lechuga players or like the people who take after like George's style on Let's Talk UVS go like, we're gonna design a balls to the wall Titan of Terror deck that's gonna try to kill you as consistently as possible. And I will be very interested in seeing which one of those two performs
yeah.
better at Chicago.
Funny thing is the attacks don't really change that much between them, if at all. Like, I guess you decide if you're on Zeke's or not.
Right.
And, like, you're either on Zeke's or you're in Hunter's Alley is kind of the distinction. But other than that, the attacks are kind of the same. And it's just a matter of, like, are you playing 2 difficulty foundations with text, or are you playing 1s and 0s that just, like, maybe flip to draw a card or something?
Right.
Or ones that re-ready themselves, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I sincerely don't know which version is
Right.
better between
And
the two.
they probably have different matchup spreads, right? Is probably what
I will tell you, having built a 60 card greed version, and it makes sense because it's aggro, like it's obviously going to have this to an extent. It felt more like I was up to the whims of what RNG. Like when I drew well,
yeah,
I think like that deck could kill anyone on turn 3 without blinking.
Yeah, but when you soft break and you get like 1 attack and like, okay, well, I have 2 attacks, I'm Titan of Terror, but that's still not that impressive. And my defense is, well, I can pass blocks normally, and I have no defense.
And in fairness, even like my greedy 60 card version ran Unnatural Cover because that card's just really good.
They're all at least gonna run that, obviously.
But like even still, I agree, and I do look at that and I go, yeah, like I think if one of those rolls hot enough, and this is, if Broberg was here, he would talk about the flaws of results-oriented thinking in this regard. If one of those rolls hot enough this weekend, I could easily see it winning.
Oh, sure.
I could also see a situation where all of those soft brick twice in Swiss and the defensive ones that are a little more consistent because they're trying to play a little later end up, being the ones that top cut instead. I have no idea what you'll see.
I
have no idea if there is a correct
answer. And we don't know what happened in one event. We don't know what happened if we had an average of 10 events, right? Like, that's how much we don't know. Yeah. I mean, I think all told, he's certainly the most likely to. He's going to be the most registered, so he's the most likely deck to win by default of that. And he's also clearly very good and has the most proven results or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd still take the field if you were telling me Titan of Terror versus the field, but I think I said this last week, I'd probably think about it a little bit more than most of these boogeyman characters, because he is pretty well rounded and flexible in how you can build him, and the best, most robust Titan of Terror is possibly a different story than the average build that people are running, whatever that looks like.
Yeah,
but I think it's interesting, I guess. We don't know what kind of decks different people have that they're holding on to or whatever, but we've seen at the LCs, the Reiner list, the Pumat lists, these characters that can be sort of built as grindy decks, but people have built kill them versions of those decks and have had some success with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think in the same vein you could see kill them Rodons. You could see, I haven't thought too hard about Mitchell's deck, but I would imagine that that's maybe more aggressive than it has to be, right? Compared to some of the I'm going to grind this game out and win with Koenma's task.
Right.
He's probably packing, I would imagine, more heat than some of those lists were, for instance. And so, when everyone brings, and, I'm sure half the testing groups out there feel like they have the answer to Titan of Terror and they're going to win every time or whatever. But, I think some of that's going to be people trying to play actually delete everything decks, right? We're going to play capes and cheerleaders and filled with doubts and nullifying spheres and whatnot. Those don't all go in the same deck probably, but though I think it's usually Deku when people are trying to build those, much like the Dekus that were at Worlds. But I think aside from that style of deck, I don't think anybody's going to be trying to actually wall him out. I think it's all going to be versions of slow him down and kill him first.
Right.
In different percentages, right? Some decks will be 70% slow him down, 30% kill him first, and some will be 70% kill him first, 30% slow him down. And that kind of stuff, the nice thing about that stuff is that it's the same way you don't have a lot of specific hate against him. That stuff is not specific to fighting him, right? Slow them down and kill them quickly is just a good deck.
Right.
In a lot of ways.
This, in many ways, has been the most I have felt a single character in recent memory has warped the format not necessarily like even the strongest or not strongest, but insofar as it like, I think there were fast decks that could beat Mikasa 4. I think there were really slow decks that could beat Mikasa 4, et cetera, et cetera. Same thing with Deku.
Yeah, I mean, I think you
with
have to go
most of
back
the
to.
characters.
I think you have to go back to Smiling Titan, right? Like,
Yeah.
nobody was showing up to that event without having an idea of how they're going to fight Smiling Titan the same way, and younger Toguro was like this too, and I think he's like that. And obviously, like when Mikasa was the boogeyman, people were showing up prepared for that too, but it wasn't the same kind of like, you could tweak 8 slots in your deck and say like, okay, I'm prepared for Mikasa now. But fighting like the Toguros and the Smiling Titans and the Titan of Terrors of the world is a much more, my full deck concept has to be prepared to fight this.
Yeah, they are saying certain game plans are illegal into them.
Right.
Or at least highly unadvisable.
Yeah, if your plan is to let Titan of Terror see his 5th turn, that's extremely risky.
I mean, that's part of the reason I'm not going to Chicago. Not to be like a whiny, take my ball and go home about it. I was looking at it, I'm like, man, I've been spending this entire like format playtesting and building up a Biolante deck. This deck's just not allowed to play into Titan of Terror right now. And like I could take something else, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, unless there was a way to make you'd have to come up with like a much more differently slanted, really like kill them Biolante, which might exist for all we know, but it wouldn't look it wouldn't be like the DR prison that you like to play.
It wouldn't look remotely like the deck I was playing. And I've always been in the camp of like, if you're going to play a really aggressive Biolante, there's probably another character that you should be playing.
Yeah, you could just be Bridget probably in a lot of cases.
Yeah. You could be Bridget, or you could be doing a million of the other things. Like, and I took I was playtesting that Nago deck, and I think that Nago deck, like the one that is an alteration from Worlds with the new cards, probably has the potential to top, and then thus the potential to win. I think it is less consistent than the Titan of Terrors of the world, and so I'm like, I'm not sure it's really worth it to take it. And I didn't want to invest in like all of the cards I would need for Titan of Terror because I think there's like a 50-50 shot.
You'd like, get all these cards and then the deck would get shot in the knee.
Yeah, and I'd be like, oh, cool. I just spent $300, got one top 8, and now I don't get to play the deck anymore. I just figured that wasn't worth it. So I will be going pretty much guaranteed to Vegas, barring life getting in the way. So I'll just pray we kill Titan of Terror, or at that point I'll stop being a baby about it and play a deck that can actually beat it.
Caven actually tried the Rodon.
Yeah, I tried Rodon, or actually try to play a deck that kills people.
I mean,
like I keep saying that I'm gonna. I keep saying I did play Jir before. I played Ymir. Ymir killed people.
Sometimes. Your Ymir was a sometimes. Yeah.
My Ymir was a sometimes, but it was more of a sometimes than my Tiger was.
Yes, absolutely.
I keep saying I'm going to show up to like a tournament with like a different style of deck, but I keep really enjoying playing control decks. I just enjoy snuffing the life out of my opponent.
You just have to figure out how to make the 70-30 where spending a lot of energy slowing them down, but we still want to have a clock.
Yeah, you have to actually have a kill condition in your control deck and not just be a prison deck.
Legitimately, if I had more time, I think the delete everything Deku deck is not necessarily a bad idea. I do not think the way David is playing it is correct. I do not think Mill is the plan B. I think it's still Hadir's probably your plan B after the one punch. But I think like that is a deck. Bug Bite is really strong in that deck. That is a deck that could feasibly do something.
Hadir is a good card right now.
Absolutely.
Generally.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone wants to play Queen of the Monsters to make their strings easier. Nobody's putting speed on it, generally speaking. You block with Hadir and that you undo whatever they were trying to do.
Yeah, and like yes, it would mean that the Godzilla or the Titan of Terror then uses their form and gets one more attack. But if you save your flash for that move at that point, like you're still probably going to be fine. Like I think you'd have to be really smart to play a Deku right now, and I'm not confident I am that smart of a block gamer.
Yeah, I think that there is the challenge is card economy for sure. Like the challenge is without heroic passion, and you're a real 6-hitter. And like for all of whatever you do against the Titan of Terrors, like that might be the sort of game plan where like, yeah, I'm good against this, but then, you know, what if it's one of the Gigans or something that's, or heck, Reiner that, or Nago or someone that's playing 5 attacks and trying to zone check me? Like,
Right.
Reiner doesn't even need enhanced steps. Like by and large, it's crazy.
Yeah. No, 100%. And that is the reason why like I am not confident in that deck enough to like I think there is a deck there. I did not have the time or energy to build that deck.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of, you know, this is a next year wish and part of our contracted schedule and all that, but would really like to have like 2 or 3 weeks after LCs before the regional fires, and not like, all right, it's next weekend, just to like give people to like survey, you know, because not everyone's LC got to a week 1 LC, right? Some people, the week 4 LC was the first one they got to go to, and giving people more than 5 days to sort of, all right, survey the landscape, think about what they want to be doing, try a couple different things, like. But I do like the model of like LCs into regional in general. I just want like a little more space.
Yeah. I am sure there is a reason that we set it up where it is November's our next Worlds. I am sure that
because Worlds should be in the year that it's for. And they probably want to release a booster set in January and do rotation in the January and then kick off organized play in March or whatever. Or even in February. Like, you know, you can have LCs in February, right?
So
like
in the future, it'll feel smoother.
Yeah.
It is really frustrating to me right now that you have LCs the weekend after you have a regional. It's like a week or 2 later, you go to round 2 LCs because the end of May, 5 weeks apart, you have the round 2 regional. That just all feels so closely together.
Yeah.
That it feels a little frustrating. Like I'm glad I have my invite, so I don't need to be like traveling to a bunch of LCs and things like that. I can't imagine being one of these players that's doing a ton of travel, trying to grind for their invite.
I mean, like, you know, they're having, look, step back. They are having a good time playing the game generally.
Right.
Right. They are going to these events because they enjoy going to these events. But in terms of the setting up for the regional competitive vibe of getting ready for the regional. And yeah, there are going to be some people that are PTO, depending on how far you have to drive and, you know, things like that. But just in terms of the like taking the LC into regional
joy.
That's true.
Jose, I understand joy. I also understand only having 5 days off as a teacher. I have to use my time very well.
Yeah. And like I will say, like, I do enjoy the game. I wouldn't go to these events if I didn't. But 3 weeks in a row of having to travel a few hours away minimum and playing the game all day on a Saturday and basically sacrificing my weekend to do so, it can lead to burnout, because like I am worried about feeling burnt out after Chicago, but we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find the old block schedule. So the next round of LCs, it does start. Those like the first couple weeks of those, like the May 2nd and 3rd and the May 9th and 10th ones, are going to be a little bit weird, because I think unless, you know, it depends on how Chicago goes, but it's pretty likely that like almost no matter how Chicago goes, the whole player base is just going to be kind of waiting on the ban list to see if anything happens, right? And so like those first couple LC weekends are going to be possibly very different from the other two, and like people aren't going to put a whole lot of energy into testing for them necessarily, because it's going to be like, you know, same format we just had a regional for and a bunch of LCs for.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to give credit one thing to UVS Games. I think we mentioned it when we were talking about the ban list, although I think I wasn't there for that. So I really did appreciate UVS Games releasing the City Rampage ban list. They released it like a day early, right? Or am I
it was
crazy?
Like 10 days early. It was
it
was like the Friday before the Tuesday, so it was effectively a weekend early.
I appreciate giving us a little bit more advanced notice with how many events were so closely aligned. I think because it's like the 3rd or 4th weekend in May, you probably could wait for the first Tuesday of May to release the ban list and not feel bad about it. I am glad that they are taking consideration, though, like making sure players have time to get the new cards or whatever. So we're not dealing with this, oh God, am I going to build this deck and then the ban list comes around and everything dies and I have 2 weeks to build something new. I think that's really cool. It's helping us make sure. I know some players are like, ooh, I love the scramble. As someone who doesn't own cards and has to buy my cards for most sets, I don't love the scramble. So I really do. I do think that that is going to be good going forward, and that it's really good they're showing attention to that. Trying to remember like what else was really big news coming from Chicago. Oh, let's talk the other big thing coming from Chicago, and I'm going to go grab these images because Levi just made public what the promos are actually looking like in person. So I'm going to go grab those images real quick. Because they are
what is this
looking
picture of Andy? What are these people doing?
Real good.
I'm not gonna read what they're doing either.
Don't worry about it. Just ignore it.
If Andy's coming up, I don't want to know.
They were just talking about staff cards, and someone asked if Andy, like on, I think one of the store reps, asking if he has
I guess UVS Games could say otherwise, but I'm pretty sure staff cards are dead. Any that haven't been printed yet aren't going to happen. They have too many staff members to be doing that for one thing.
It is unfortunate, but understandable.
And like, I mean, I guess I don't know for sure, but I assume they like pay people real wages. So they don't need to like give them the carrot of like, oh, but you'll get this cool staff card now. Come work for Jasco, and your pay will be room and board at my mansion, and I'm gonna make you work when you're home because I'm gonna be there too. But you'll get a cool staff card.
Speaking of cool staff cards, did you ever get one, Tim?
No, I was technically like an independent contract, and like, but I had the character card coming already.
Anyway. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, you don't really need a staff card when you've had 3 character cards.
Yeah, I never really cared about a staff card anyway.
Look, I just wanted a Tim Keefe staff card for my binder, but if one doesn't exist, it
doesn't exist.
So
if
put up on the
UVS Games was going to go back and like make old prize cards or staff cards or whatever, I'd bring up the 2013 Canadian Team Nationals that I don't shut up about.
So I just put up on the screen for chat to see the promo cards in hand. I gotta say, damn, they did a good job with these cards.
You might want to make that image a little bit bigger.
Yeah, we're gonna make it real big for a second. People aren't gonna see us for a moment, so people can really see what these cards look like. It's mostly just blocking Tim. It's fine.
Have you considered rotating
them? There we go. Now we can't see anyone. Actually,
perfect.
TV.
Perfect.
And kind of Tim.
We'll just cover up.
Yeah. Levi also confirmed that these are fully foil, which is awesome.
They look gorgeous. Holy cow. I was a little scared when I heard we were getting a unique IP in promo cards. I talked a little bit about this when we first got it, because like I am not a Red Horizon. I might be one of Red Horizon's biggest haters.
There's a lot of competition. Don't worry.
True. I think Red Horizon kind of sucks. I think it's like very it objectifies a lot of its female characters in a very problematic way. And like this being an anime community, I was a little worried the cards were going to go in that direction. 90s.
I will say one nice thing about Red Horizon. Kaden fighting with like 2 bells attached with a chain is really goofy and kind of cool. That's might be the end of my positive things.
There are some cool designs in Red Horizon.
Yeah.
There are cool designs in Red Horizon. Like one of them is a female character. I think Miska has a cool design, and that's the only one I might give credit to.
I think the first Zoe was fine, and then the second artist got a hold of Zoe, and then it got south.
I think Lily is like close to being a cool character, but it just
Lily
feels
wasn't
a little weird.
Named/modeled after Jason's girlfriend. It would go over a lot better.
Yeah, fair.
God, I love Red Horizon lore. Anyways, but no, these cards are looking utterly fantastic and are like walking the line of like, yes, these are clearly characters people are gonna like the way they look, while still feeling like respectful designs. And like, I think if you're choosing an aesthetic of anime to draw from that like people are going to find cool and interesting. 90s VHS Space Frontier anime is a sick place to draw from.
Yeah,
I love these cards.
Yeah, I think like it's a good way to, obviously, right, the anime aesthetic is something that a lot of people really like. It's really popular. It has a lot of appeal. But this is a nice way to do the anime aesthetic without being sort of just like, here's generic fantasy anime stuff, right?
Right.
I mean, Grand Archive cards are worth a heck ton of money. Don't get me wrong, but like, if you were to try to do that, it just a lot of their stuff is like, yeah, it's very nice art, but it's just these could be just like random characters on DeviantArt or something, right? But
No,
by having
I
this
agree.
like
I think
very
there's, like, a
distinctive
very-
style and angle going on, I think Rebel Frontier is pretty cool for that.
I think there's a sick identity
Yeah.
on this one. I think it is really cool. And speaking of, we have
my
kind
gripe
of
is
a,
my
not a
gripe
reveal.
is that we've only seen 2 characters so far.
Yeah, true.
Yes,
We'll see more.
I
It's fine.
wish we saw more. out of the gate.
absolutely.
I think that's why they haven't
I do
shown
wanna
us
show
the other
one
half of
new
the year.
card. They did show one new card in the David Discord. Now this card was
Right.
seen at Worlds, so this isn't new for your
Yes.
Worlds players. But for anybody who is not in David's Discord or did not go to the Friday event of Worlds, they just showed on that one. I don't know if Levi was supposed to show it, but he did, and he told us we could show it on stream. The Filled with Doubt promo. I am so glad Filled with Doubt is getting one of these promos. I think given they're doing rares and stuff, I want it to be some of your most competitive rares. Filled with Doubt is one of the single best cards you could choose to get a promo.
It's
for
also
this.
like $13 on TCG Player, so having extras out in the wild is always a good thing.
Yeah, it is such a good choice. And this art I think is really cool. I'm gonna ignore a little bit the arm placement of the girl on the right. It's a little on the edge. Other than
Not
that,
that
I'm not gonna be a super prude about this. I think the designs and art is really, really cool.
And it is important to note that this is not a Chicago promo. Don't go to Chicago and expect to see this. This is confirmed to be a Vegas promo.
Yes, this is a Vegas promo. I will be getting at least my playset of these at Vegas. This is the card I'm going to grind for most likely.
Yeah,
mostly because I play with Filled with Doubt everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty mad about these cards in one way. It means that like everybody wants to play in teams on Friday, and I can't get anyone to come to baseball.
Man, that's real unfortunate.
It's that bastard Levi and Hitch coming out with promos that people want.
Promos
I
that
mean,
look good and are
unironically-
good cards.
Unironically, the thing that kind of sucks for me is I now have to really consider taking Friday off work to actually be at these regionals on Friday. Because normally I've just been like, I'll just show up Friday evening and play on Saturday. But these promos are good enough. I kind of want to grind for them on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friday's going to be the nice weather day too. Like if I wait until Sunday, where like unless I'm in top 4 or something, I could go to the game on Sunday, but that's going to be 50 degrees. Friday's supposed to be 75 degrees.
So
we'll
just to
play
kind of summarize, thank you, Levi. Like I think Levi was one of the ones who really pushed hard for this original IP from what I had heard. I don't know if the others on the team or not had been pushing for this as well.
Yeah, I'm sure Hitch wanted to do it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I
Yeah.
think it's Levi and Hitch together because I think
Yeah.
this is Hitch's baby.
So for Hitch and Levi, thank you guys so much. This is the kind of thing that I get excited for as the game of the universes. Like this is a thing that universes can really claim, and it's a thing I actually kind of want to claim. Unlike other things. Yeah, I'm super excited. So kind of because we're hitting kind of the 40-minute mark, so kind of moving towards kind of broad scopes. What if you were to give one prediction for something that you don't think people are expecting, be it a deck that you think might do well, just something from Chicago you're really excited to see or you're predicting, what are kind of your last minute shots about Chicago going to be?
I'll
No, that was kind of a weird question.
I'll take a hot take.
Yeah.
There will be a deck with, let's say, at least 3 lightning blasts in top cuts.
Ho ho ho!
I have to remember which one Lightning Blast is.
If you want to
Lightning
build
Blast is the
a deck,
terrible 2-check from
it
Critical
is
Role.
absolutely not terrible. If I had that out of
Oh no, this card's sick. What do
Yeah.
you mean?
No, I put those. I'm probably not playing the Toru, but I put those in the Toru after I tested against you. And if I had those in our match, I would have blown you out of the water. Because my problem was I couldn't deal damage without momentum. And Lightning Blast is going to solve that problem for. There's a wide range of decks that would benefit greatly from having just a 4-low for potato.
This is also probably just like
Look,
the one throw that Hedora does. The one,
The one card that's not
non-throw.
a throw.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I think
I mean,
that
it does
guy's
help.
a greedy bastard.
I mean, that's fair. The card pool ability is just really
If Hedora
good,
plays a
but-
blockable attack, I'm salivating.
Look, I'll be clear. I will write you a personal apology, Tim, if there is even one Lightning Blast in Top Cut.
Quick as
I
Earth,
do
put it in
not believe-
Godzilla.
We are in a format where you need to kill people. And
I
the
don't
worst
care.
case scenario is you make Titan of Terror block with one of his attacks. It's good.
I am of the camp that you play Lightning Blast because you have a bad offensive deck and you're trying to save yourself. And I think that is not a deck that you can play right now.
Some
you
people
don't
play
believe me,
Battle
take
War
Toru.
release. Like,
Did we just compare a 3-check draw card to Lightning Blast?
people play Battle Release because it's a 4-high-8, not because it draws a card. I mean, the drawing the card is nice, but
And it's also a 3-check, not a 2-check.
yeah, that's fine. You can I mean, those aside from Earth, right? Chaos and Water have enough playable zeros that you can do it.
Look, to be fair, this one's like unless your opponent something's going real wrong on your opponent's side, this thing's like bare minimum of 4 low 10.
It's enormous.
Who killed Kevin Broberg?
Ben Berg
The
killed
Storm
Kevin
killed-
Broberg. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's his brother.
Yeah, he did say he was on his way back like over half an hour ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and we've had
he
no
never
wait,
found
have
his
we-
brother, so he
Oh,
just
okay.
got home.
Yeah,
His brother
yeah, he
also
just
got home.
posted. Bad news, I'm not getting on the call. Good news, my brother was walking in the door at like the same moment when I got home.
It's kind of how I felt like this was going to go. That's why we started without him.
All right,
Yeah.
no deck size argument this week. Maybe next week.
Yeah. Next week, I want to get into it with someone about if 60 cards is optimal or should be how we always play. It will be the worst argument we've had on this podcast. I want to be clear. It is an argument that, like,
I will need to make sure my Switch is charged. That's all.
yeah, it is an argument where there will not be a winner because there's going to be no conceding ground. We're going to do it anyways. Will, do you have any hot takes? Because I think it's a good way to put it. Any hot takes about Chicago?
I don't know about hot takes, but I do wish. Sorry, I'm looking at our chat. I do think that if we had the clipboard thing still, not the clipboard, but the whiteboard thing, my guess would be like some deck that no one expected making top cuts, like something crazy.
Yeah, like there will be a deck that was registered like less than 3 times across 600 LC registrations. That's just in top cuts.
Right.
It's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, well, I mean, we just did talk about Hedora, like maybe squeaking in possibly because that thing
That wouldn't surprise anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, like Jose said, like some weird shit like Shune or something.
Yeah, so someone doing. I guess I could expand my. I don't know if there's any like commonly played ones at all, right? Some 2-checks and tops, because you could talk about Lightning Rod too.
Mm-hmm.
Is another one that people are starting to explore a little bit.
Some Potemkin busters.
Yeah, I guess Potemkin Buster might be the most commonly.
Hell yeah, there's
One of
my
the
hot
most
take is that somehow Grog makes it in.
Dude, that'd
be sick if he finally got his top cut.
It won't happen, but boy, would I wanted.
I mean, he can certainly just like lame people out for sure. Yeah, there's not a lot of lethal shot. I guess Sniping Spy is pretty popular right now in Gigons. We're gonna have some 2-checks and tops. Like,
Yeah.
There's enough of them that are starting to like get a little play. Could even just be the Mikasa Air Force stuff.
Yeah, now the crazy thing would be a 1-check making tops.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I think
Yeah,
like,
I mean the only one I could even remotely think of is the silly gravity beam
there's
one.
only 5 legal ones.
Yeah, exactly. So
And only one of them has like text that's worth playing.
yeah, I was playing in Gigan. Like it's sick in that character when you see
Yeah,
it. But
yeah.
like,
Field's been running that deck, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I also beat him on the back of like he just like checked the bad ones early.
oh,
twice,
absolutely.
2
Yeah,
games
yeah.
in a row.
If you check the bad ones early, then you're just sad.
Oh yeah, I think there will be people taking the one check. I do not think it will top. I think like the one
It
check
would- it
deck
would
is
be-
really cool.
It'd be one of the greatest cons by George by like slipping one copy of this into his deck as kind of a joke for an LC, and now everybody's playing like 2 or 3 of them in their Gigon decks. Such a con job.
man.
Perfect.
I'm trying to think what I want because I want to give a hot take even though I'm not going to be there. I mean, one that I want to say is I don't think there will be a Titan of Terror in finals. I want to put my money on the field, and I just want to be
Yeah.
wrong if it ends up that I'm wrong. I want to put faith in the field.
I mean, it could just be a repeat
Wow.
of the regional when everyone was up in arms about Ojiro 2, where only one Ojiro made top cuts and then lost in the first round.
Well, wasn't that
Ojiro
one
was-
like a bunch of people kind of agreed not to play Ojiro?
Sort of like Unfun Stuff all agreed not to, but also just everyone was playing decks that specifically were built to deal with
Well,
Ojiro.
a lot of players showed up with 5-handers and said like, Ojiro, you actually like have a harder time dealing 7
Right.
more damage.
You can't kill me, right?
You're not going to turn to
I
a
think-
5-hander now. Try to play defense. Oh, you forgot to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
I think a better example to me is the Younger Toguro regional for US, where like after Younger Toguro went crazy in EU and OCE and like was 3 of top 4 of one and like both the finals in the other. 3 make top 16 in America, and then like the way that people in the field had played and
it was a
kinda
top
designed
8
their
cut,
deck.
and yeah, it was a top 8 cut, and then they all lost in the first round of top 8.
Yep.
Yeah.
I could see a thing like that happening, where just like the people who are not on Titan of Terror in top 8 know how to play against that deck so well and have built their deck enough to survive. They kill it in top 8.
I mean, by definition, right? If you're making top 8, you've probably had to beat some Titan of Terrors to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that happens. I think that's always a cooler story than just the deck everyone thought was the best deck in the room ends up being the best deck in the room.
Yeah.
It's a much more fun story to be like, ooh, people figured out Amajiki has a good matchup here and used Amajiki to win the event. But I think that kind of hits my hot take. Does anyone have any final thoughts they want to share? We're having a bit of a shorter stream today, but I think that's fine because we
Happy
kind of knew.
one day later, happy 20th anniversary to this game.
Yeah. That was
The
yesterday.
The game was released yesterday, 20 years ago.
The first booster set launched April 14th, 2006, according to Wikipedia, but I sure don't have another source.
Okay, so that's not counting the
Is
Penny
that-
Arcade release.
Yeah, it doesn't count. It's not penny art.
Okay,
And
so
like
first
when you think
booster
about it, if
release.
you're launching a CCG, the launch date's when the boosters show up, right?
That's fair. That's fair.
So
Yeah.
yeah, they mentioned it like at the end of the day on socials, and I hope that's not because they remembered at the last minute when it
Yeah.
was brought up in Discord and they were
yeah.
actually planning to do that the whole time.
It certainly
Um,
got my hopes up when I saw it, and then was very sad when it
Yeah.
wasn't like announced anything. It was just like,
Yeah,
hey,
they
happy
certainly
20th.
didn't have anything planned for it beyond just like a call out social post if they planned
Right.
anything at all, unless they're going to do some stuff in Chicago. We don't know.
Yeah,
Right.
or they
They've
might-
been very tight lipped about whatever
Yeah,
peripherals they might have going on.
and they might just wait until Worlds to say like, here's the 20th anniversary Worlds. It's not the exact date, obviously, but like that would be a good time to do anything if you're not making announcements on the day of.
Yeah, but independent, right? Independent of like how UVS Games is handling it or whatever. Very cool that like any CCG. I mean, I know UVS is the 4th oldest CCG, right? It's the only CCG that's not the big 3 that's been around this long. I don't even know what the 5th is. It's probably. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the 5th would be, but it's. I don't think it's particularly close to 20 years. If there is one, it's probably like a 12 or 13 or 14 year type of
Right.
thing.
Yeah, and if there are any, like even if they got like rebooted or something, then those had a long time between them, right? Like Magi-Nation, one of my favorite like fun games.
That doesn't count as living for 20
that does
years.
not count. It does not count.
Right,
It
exactly.
literally just came back after being dead for like almost all of UVS's time alive.
Yeah, and
I
then
can't
and stuff that's
decide.
been like fan projects run, probably,
Yeah.
if it's been like we have fan sets that you can play on TTS, like I'm talking about physically producing product
Right, correct.
at some kind of relatively ongoing pace without more than like a couple month break handing off companies or something.
Right.
I can't decide if it's really impressive we're the fourth longest running game, and the longest running it's not the big three, or if it's sad that we are the fourth running and still the size of a game that we are.
That's
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I've constantly heard this game described as the cockroach of CCGs, and you know what? I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
And like
we know it is.
I
like
do want to be fair. Sorry, go ahead.
It's a game where like the initial like learning curve, not just like the rules, but like learning how to play and build decks effectively enough that you're not getting like out at your locals with people that have been playing for more, if someone playing for 6 months or 2 years is going to have a huge edge over somebody playing for 6 days. Right. And it takes a long time to catch up. But on the flip side, once you are like neck deep in the game, there's not a whole lot else in the space that is the kind of game that UVS is, right? In terms of
I always
variety and the different the
regard.
gameplay experience and things like that.
The hardest thing about our game is obviously I think like anybody shows up to a local with a new deck is going to probably go 0-3 against constructed players. But like our game has its base gameplay has such a high skill floor. I think in Yu-Gi-Oh, but especially in Pokemon and Magic where you can get mana screwed and stuff, if you put an established player with a new player and both hand them challenger decks or the equivalent thereof, there's like a 10, 20, 30% win rate the less good player wins. I think in universes, it's like maybe 5%. Like if you know how to block and hold cards, it is so hard for someone to ever kill you if they don't know the game well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but
there's ups and like having lots of IPs gets more different eyeballs on you, but having lots of IPs means that you're not, if somebody's only here for their favorite IP, especially now that like you do an IP for a set and then you're on to the next thing, you have to get them through the curve of like, I just started learning this game to like, I'm so deep into this game that I'm willing to buy this IP I don't care about in 3 months. Right. And that's a big challenge for them.
If we became the Critical Role game, we wouldn't have to worry about that. We'd have IP to gather everyone.
We're not doing this. We're not Broberg. Also, side note, speaking of anniversaries, we missed ours.
What? Did we have a 1 year?
Yeah, okay. I don't know when our first stream was, but our very first the YouTube channel was made on March 6, 2025, according to this.
Oh shit.
We are much less notable than the Game of Universes is.
Oh, that's fair. It's just I didn't know that. So maybe we should keep track of that at some point.
Yeah.
At some point we should keep track. I can't believe we've been doing this for a year. I thought we'd be doing it for like 6 months maybe.
Oh, it's definitely longer than that because we started like right after Denver.
You would be able to find out about when we started if you went into David's chat and looked for when Broberg was like, "Hey, if you guys want to do a podcast, I'll join." And
when I made the joke, I think it was Tim who opted in first, mate, wasn't it? Or no?
I don't remember.
I don't know. I just remember making the joke with you because
if I thought I'll be honest, if I thought it was going to be if I knew it was going to be 4 people, I don't know if I would have signed on to begin with because 4 people's a lot.
That's fair. I think it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the 2 of us. Then Tim said something about like if you guys are serious, and then like maybe an hour later or something, Broberg was like, "Hey, I'm down for this too."
Yeah, and we weren't going to say no to Kevin, so here we are.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about 4 people is when someone's missing, you have a nice 3-person show.
Absolutely.
But
yeah, our not our beta test, our first like official stream, like that wasn't like the scuff. Let's see how this works. Was like the week I think before Denver.
Oh wow. What do you know? That's really cool. I think that's a pretty good note to end on. We had a little bit of a shorter stream. this week, but that's fine. Mostly because Kevin died, and we didn't really, there's not a lot to talk about. It's just people are anticipating
Yeah,
Chicago.
we've been in this format for a minute now, right?
Yeah, we'll have a ton to talk about next week, I'm sure. If nothing else, I might go on a rant about destructive heat ray next week if it does as well as it might do in Chicago.
One of these days, I'll have another Jeopardy episode to do, but
and I might actually be here for that one.
I gotta make sure it's when you're out of town. Just so we can get Zach on it again and have more retro questions, and he'll be like, I don't know these either.
All right. So on that wonderful note, thank you guys all for tuning in as usual. I really do appreciate how consistent people have been with us shifting to this new day. It's really cool. People want to shout things out. I will shout out Broberg has Build UVS on Substack that he's been posting a lot to. I am sure he's going to post something after Chicago because he usually tries to post some thoughts about how a tournament did. Tim, you got anything?
Yes, YouTube/Satonis. May or may not be recording a video tonight, and if I don't do tonight, it's going to be like after Chicago or whatever. But I have to like pack and see how I'm feeling, and I'll probably just be lazy. But
Will?
I mean, as always, 4Checks Cast at YouTube for our VODs. Episode will go up on Monday. I actually remembered to edit the most recent one last week, so maybe I'll keep that up.
And I'll start promoting my thing again when I actually know what I'm doing with it. So
in other words, never.
I'm hoping in May.
Okay.
So on that wonderful
summer
note,
project over summer vacation kind of thing.
That's actually the real plan is I have summer stuff because I don't do much over the summer because I'm a teacher. That's when I'm probably going to try to do a lot of stuff. Let's go and see if we can raid y'all to someone. Who is streaming right now?
There is no Universes player. Shofu's doing Pokemon stuff, but that's all I have up.
Sure, I'll raid you over to Shofu.
Hell yeah.
Rating this 800-person stream with our 13 viewers.
Hell yeah. Hey, we did it. Hey, we did that for Poke Aim last week, and he shouted us out. He was like, hey, thanks for the raid, guys.
God.
All right.
Although
Raid
Joey's really
Pokemons.
cool, Shofu is Shofu.
I don't know what that means.